Yeah? Okay, great. Good morning again. My name is Alexia Coleman-Moss, and I'm representing the Jacksonville Kids Coalition. We are so excited to have everyone here this morning. We have a very packed agenda, as you will see in a moment. And thank you for taking time out of your day to join us this morning for some advocacy training. Just some quick housekeeping. We do have coffee and juice and tea in the back, as well as water. And out of these doors, down the hall to the right by the, love seat area are the restrooms if you still need to use them. And also, you should have a sticker. If you have your own name tag, please make sure you have those stickers. There's a number at the bottom of that sticker, and you will need that later. If by chance we forgot to give you one, if you can go see Sarah at the check-in sometime by lunch, that would be great. So, we have been working with the Northeast Florida Help Us Start Coalition for 4 years now to collaboratively put together this training. And then about 2 years ago, we got real smart and we started working with Early Learning Coalition and United Way of Northeast Florida. We just saw that we were all kind of doing our own separate advocacy trainings, and we said, wouldn't it be great if we all combined forces to have an even bigger advocacy training? So each year has grown, so we're really excited again to collaborate and bring this opportunity to you. In your packet, you'll find some information about our organizations if you are not familiar with them. Shameless plug for Kids Coalition. We are a membership-based organization, and right now membership is complimentary, and we're able to provide our members this wonderful opportunity such as the advocacy training. We have an event coming up for Children's Week, which is modeled after Children's Week in Tallahassee, and we hope that you can join us for that. We'll be having an advocacy walk starting at the landing, ending at City Hall, and there's more information in your packet on that. So become a member of Kids Coalition so we can keep you in the loop. I would also like to thank the Chartrand Foundation, as they were the ones to come up with some additional funding support, which allowed us to bring in our national advocacy expert, Joe Tyson, who I'll introduce in a moment. I just want to briefly mention some additional items that are in your packet. And again, if you don't have a packet, please make sure you see Sarah at check-in. In your packet, you'll see a couple of advocacy tools, a list of elected officials, both from the Duval delegation, along with their contact information. And you can pull this down from the website, coj.net has a link to the Duval delegation. And then also we have a sheet in there with your city council members, the mayor's contact information, etc. Now, as far as the flow of the day, you will see an agenda in your packet, and that pretty much will give you the overview. We do have a lunch break, and they are going to be boxed lunches, so during the lunch break, we'll come up here and just kind of tell you when that comes, and you'll go out here and you'll get a boxed lunch. If you want to continue to network and mingle, take some of the tools that you learned over that lunchtime, you can, or you can just have a full-fledged break. It's up to you. But we would like people to stay around at least until 1 o'clock for the roundtable discussions. It's kind of funny. We started off with roundtables, but as we've grown, there are actually breakout rooms. But again, we'll better explain that. But that is definitely going to be a great highlight of the afternoon. And then something new that we added to the agenda this year is action planning. We thought everyone's here, you're with your groups, or maybe you came on your own because your executive director encouraged you to come to an advocacy training. We want you all to take that last hour to really take the tools from today and start working on your platform, start working on your message. And the great news is we're going to have 3 breakouts for that. There's going to be one around early learning initiatives, the other one is going to be with United Way, and then the last one will just kind of be general advocacy around children's issues. So again, we invite you to stay for that as well. And by the way, if you stay until 1 o'clock, we have a nice incentive for one member of the audience who stays until 1 o'clock. So find a dangle with here. Okay. Okay, so at this time I would like to go ahead and introduce our trainer. I want to make sure I covered everything. I did, okay. So again, we are so excited to have Joe Tyson with us all the way from chilly cold Washington, D.C., Joe Tyson is the Senior Vice President of Programs for Voices for America's Children. Voices is a membership organization representing 60 state and local members in 48 states, the District of Columbia, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Joe actually joined Voices in 2003 as Vice President of Policy. Prior to that, he served for 4 years as the Special Assistant to the President and CEO of Points of Light Foundation. He also served as the Executive Director and CEO of Taxpayers for Common Sense. On Capitol Hill, Joe was the Chief of Staff and the Legislative Director to Congressman Tim Penny, who is now retired, Legislative Director to U.S. Congresswoman Jan Harmon, Policy Director of the Blue Dog Democrats, Legislative Director to U.S. Congressman Colin C. Peterson. Joe provides strategic guidance and direction for Voices, public policy, and congressional and White House outreach efforts. Recognized for his experience in a wide array of domestic policy and federal budgetary issues, Joe has more than 20 years of experience in developing and advocating for critical legislative issues. Joe has spoken to children's serving groups across the country for many years with an aim to increasing the effectiveness of advocates for our most precious national resource, our children and our youth. So as you can see from his bio, who more fitting than to give us the great tools of political advocacy than Joe Tyson. I welcome Joe to your program.
Thank you so much. Boy, reading that bio, you would think I'm not able to keep a job. But thank you so much. It is a real honor to be here with you. I try to get out of the Washington, D.C. bubble as much as possible. It's a little bit of another world, and talk with people who day in and day out do this work. And it's very rewarding for me. I learn a lot. I always come away from these sessions with as much more, I think, than I give. There is a very intimidating PowerPoint today, so don't get nervous. A lot of slides. Going to try to move through it. Some of them very quickly, some we will linger on. I'm not going to rush to get through. I would rather we have discussion, so if we hit some particular point in this that really, gets your juices flowing, you have questions, you want to make comments, you want to talk with each other about how you have looked at some aspects of advocacy, I think that's what we're here to do today. So I would rather we stop than try to rush through a lot of information. It is all there, and I'm certainly happy to talk or expand on anything. I always have this fantasy. Somebody asked me a long time ago, actually I think it was a former colleague, if you were king for the day and could make one sweeping change to children, what would it, children, youth, their families, what would it be? And I have an answer, but I think as a little bit of an icebreaker, I think it'd be great if we just took a moment. Let me take this off because it looks too intimidating. We would just take a minute and think about that. If you were king or queen for a day, don't worry about funding and don't worry about regulatory issues and whether or not your community would be there with you, or if you have the workforce, or if you have other things. You could make one change, large or small, that you think could have a huge impact on kids. What would it be? So let's just take 30 seconds, write it down on a piece of paper, and obviously we're not going to go around the room and ask everybody, but anybody who wants, I'll tell you I've done this a few times. I'll give you a few I'll give you my answer. And again, it's no better than anyone else's. And I'll give you a few that I've heard. Some are actually kind of funny. But just take a second. If you were king or queen for the day, could it make one sweeping change for kids that really dramatically improve their lives or outcomes? What would it be?